Hi, I'm Greg, and we are here today at the Sherwood Planetarium and Science Centre. We've got an amazing day. It's the official opening. We're joined by Professor Chris Lintott, who's arriving now, the Lord Lieutenant of Nottinghamshire, and Mayor Claire Ward.
Lord Lieutenant, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official opening of the Sherwood Observatory, Planetarium and Science Centre. I'm Simon and I'm your MC for this afternoon. You probably know that the planetarium opened its doors to the public in late November and with huge success. Visitors in their thousands have come to watch the planetarium shows and to use the cafe here, which is being run by ADTRP College on behalf of the planetarium as a social enterprise promoting volunteering and work experience and work placement. But today, as the official opening, is a significant milestone in the journey of the planetarium, and we're delighted to have you with us here for it. The American poet, writer, and activist in the 20th century once said, Muriel Rukeyser once said, "The universe is made of stories, not atoms." And we hope that here this afternoon you will hear and learn a little bit more about the story of the observatory and its ambitions for contributing to the local, regional, national and astronomical community in this country and indeed internationally. And in that vein, I'm now going to ask Dr. Steve Wallace, who is the chair of the observatory and who has been the project director for this entire undertaking since its inception, to come and say a few words about the project and about the planetarium. Steve, thank you.
I've not heard that quote that Simon used before, so I could slightly paraphrase it and say that stories are made by atoms and atoms are made in the stars. So, as we will see in the planetarium show in a bit. So, thank you all for coming today. As Simon said, my name's Steve. I'm the chair of Sherwood Observatory. And I suppose I wanted to sort of share a little bit of a personal journey that got us to this point and the reason why I think we're here. So I joined the observatory in 2016 because I came to an open evening. We still do open evenings. And I was blown away by the passion and enthusiasm of the members. And in my old day job, I used to do science outreach. I left that job and I was looking for an outlet as a hobby to continue to do science outreach. So I was immediately attracted to what was going on here. A couple of years after I joined as a member and was doing outreach, this project came to light. And because of some of my background, I was asked to run it from a brownfield regeneration point of view. And I have to confess at the time, I didn't really rate our chances of success very high. I just thought, it sounds like fun, we'll give it a go. And then start to talk to people in the area. And I think a particularly important milestone was when I was asked to go to the Discover Ashfield board and present our idea, give a pitch. And I went along thinking I'm probably going to be standing on the street in 5 minutes' time. And I'm going to have this sound of laughter and ringing in my ears as I leave the room. And everyone in the room said, yeah, go for it, get on with it, you've got our backing. And that led to working with a network of people who supported us on this journey, so the project board. I'm not going to start naming individual people, because to do that, I'll miss some people out accidentally, and there are so many people involved in making this happen. And you all know who you are, and thank you to all of you. And so with that initial support and with the backing of Ashfield District Council and working in partnership with them, we managed to attract a significant chunk of government funding through a couple of programmes. That gave us the core funding, and when we went to other funders like the National Lottery Heritage Fund, Garfield Weston Foundation, Wolfson Foundation, Foyle Foundation, having that core backing and that core funding made it real to them. Otherwise, I think if we'd gone to them and saying we're trying to raise whatever it is, £6 million, can we have a couple £100,000 off you, a couple £100,000 off you? They would have said, no, you're never going to hit that target, come back later. But with that core funding, that allowed us to leverage that funding and make this place a reality. So thank you to you all for that support. Then, of course, we had other funding to raise. So we had various donors. We've sponsored Planetarium seats. We've got private sector, local companies involved, like Mansfield Building Society, who has sponsored the solar panels on the roof and the hearing loop system in the planetarium. We've had East Midlands Rail sponsor the changing places toilet, and we've had really good feedback that we've actually got a changing places toilet here. And even during construction, we continued to deliver outreach. So I did want to say thank you to the JF Tomlinson site team who gave up their own personal time at weekends to do hard hat tours when we were having open days. And that really helped to bring the vision to life to a much wider bunch of people as well, and develop that excitement about the opening day. So we started construction on the 29th of August 2023, and we opened on the 25th of November, the end of last year, which is only about 7 weeks ago, and it feels like about 7 months ago. So it's been a collaborative effort all the way through. And when I started talking, I said the thing that attracted me to the observatory was the passion of the volunteers and the inspirational talks that they gave, and that sense that they created in the local community that if I can do it, if they can do it, you can do it. And that's what we want to do, is get people in the local community excited about careers in science, technology, engineering and maths. Astronomy is the exciting vehicle that we use to get into all of those different subjects. And one of the things that the trustees were a bit worried about is that as we expanded, we're now getting more than 10 times the visitors we used to get, was that we'd lose that personal touch and it would become some sort of other normal run-of-the-mill visitor attraction where people get the money taken from them at the door and they don't get engaged with. If you look at our feedback on TripAdvisor and on Google, that hasn't happened. The overwhelming consistent feedback is that people feel welcomed and engaged and they sense the passion of our members. So the real big thank you really goes to our members. Without that passion before we ever started, we would have never got this project off the ground. And with that passion that they now show in delivering outreach in this fantastic facility, we're still inspiring people into the future, and long may we continue to do so.
So I'm here at the Sherwood Observatory with East Midlands Mayor Claire Ward. So just have a little chat. Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you. So you've been here today at the official opening. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've seen today?
Well, I think I've seen two things really. One is a fantastic inspiration and an example of the great ambition and vision of people in this community who have led the development of the planetarium. And this planetarium is a partnership, it's a collaboration. But what it's also going to do is put it on the map, really. I think it's a great visitor attraction for our region, and I'm really keen to highlight and showcase such gems as this. But I think there's something even more important, which is about the inspiration that it will be to young people, children and others right across our region, particularly in this local community in Ashfield, about what they can do and what they could be in the future. This is all about understanding realms outside of what they see on a day-to-day basis. It will be a connection into science and into technology. And we want our young people to be equipped for the future, which is absolutely about science and technology. And this is going to help them to do that, I think.
Our next speaker will be well known to you as a long-standing main presenter of the BBC's flagship astronomical programme. So please would you welcome up Professor Chris Lintott from the BBC's Sky at Night programme.
Hello everyone, and congratulations to all of you. I am delighted to be here. It's very nice to be at an event where I can say that and mean it. I am delighted to be here because I love planetaria. Planetariums are, as lots of you know and the rest of you are about to discover, inspiring and special places. They are ordinary buildings with a twist of magic that means that we can send you shooting to the edges of the universe. We can wind back time and show you the sky as it was thousands of years ago. And we can even give you the truly unimaginable. In a planetarium, you can see the night sky as if it was clear from the UK. And we'll hopefully experience all of that later on today. Places like this have the ability to inspire anyone who comes through the doors. You've already heard a bit of that, both because of the technology employed, the stories that we have to tell, and the incredible enthusiasm and hard work of the volunteers that have gone into making this place possible. So this place is a wonderful new building. You should think of it as a vehicle for inspiration. That's what it's built for, and that's what it's going to do. It's a good time to be opening a planetarium. As some of you will know, we're celebrating this year 100 years since the opening of the first public planetarium in Dresden. It's the end of a celebration of the first 100 years of the planetarium. And this place is joining a worldwide community of about 4,000 venues dedicated to that mission of inspiration. I'm here partly as the honorary president of the British Association of Planetaria. And I have to tell you that everyone involved in that community has been inspired by what's happened here already, not because of the science, but because of the dedication and hard work and belief that the whole team and the community have shown in the vision that has led us here today. I remember being at early conferences of the British Association of Planetaria and hearing these plans and thinking, well, that'll be nice, but I doubt that will happen. And yet, here we all are. And you cannot underestimate how special this is. So you have already inspired us. Talking of inspiration makes me think of a time a few years ago when my favourite primary school teacher, Mrs. Cummings, retired. And I wrote to her to say thank you. And she said, well, come and talk to my last class. And so I found myself in front of an intimidating audience of 9 and 10-year-olds. And before I could say anything, I was introduced as an astronomer not that long ago, had been sitting where these kids were now. And before I could say anything, there was this kid at the back with his hand up like this with a question. And I thought, okay, well, we'll start with a question. I said, what would you like to ask? And he said, well, are you supposed to be an inspiration or something? I think it was a genuine question. He wanted to know why I was there. But you lot, those involved in this, you know why you're here. You are here to be an inspiration or something. And I want to give you a further challenge, because you've already achieved that. You've already inspired thousands of people here and worldwide. But the thing that will mark the success of this project will be the tight connection between this as the home of an inspiring vision of space and science and STEM and the local community that's been established. You'll know you succeeded when people who live round here think of this as their place and pop in to find out what's happening on Mars, what their kids can learn in school today, or just when they've got a question about a bright thing in the cosmos. There's a lot of work still to do. You've made an amazing start, and I really am delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
I've got the absolute pleasure of speaking with Professor Chris Lintott. You may recognise him from the TV's Sky at Night. Chris, you've been a friend of the Sherwood Observatory Society for quite a long time, from what I understand. Is that correct?
Well, an admirer, really. It's an amazing place, and you feel the enthusiasm whenever you meet anyone involved, and the work that they're doing with the observatory and now with the planetarium is spectacular.
You've had a look at one of the shows. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, see what your thoughts are on that?
Yeah, I think the best thing about a planetarium like this, a modern one, is that you've got two modes. You can play in these shows which are made freely available by people around the world, and we saw a bit of that, but the real fun is when you get a presenter in the dome steering. We had a great view of the skies over the next couple of weeks, and you can feel the audience getting excited. As a planetarium person, you know, there are two geeky things you look for. One is how sharp are the stars, and they're looking pretty good. And the other thing is how black the black is. Can you make it dark in there between the stars? And I have to say, it looks spectacular. The team here have done a brilliant job, and people are going to really get a sense of being out in the cosmos from this facility.
So you're saying they've done a brilliant job, and this is a community project. So can you tell us a little bit about the work that's gone into it here?
I think the most important thing is that it's clear that this is an effort from the whole community, and that really matters. You know, you can build a planetarium, you can have something like this, you have people come once and tick it off a bucket list, but places like this live when people think it's part of the community. When you pop into your local planetarium, when you don't know what to do with the kids and it's raining, well, we'll go to the planetarium because there'll be something happening. And what's really encouraging about today is you've got the community leaders here, you've got the other organisations here. If the planetarium and Sherwood Observatory can keep working with them so that it belongs to everyone, then it will be a huge success, and that's what's really exciting.
So again, absolutely exciting times coming up for the local area because of the observatory and planetarium. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, just one question which you can find out for me. If you talk to the planetarium people, the best planetaria have a meteor button, which is always my favourite thing. So I want to know whether it has a meteor button. I haven't seen that yet, so we should find out.
We shall ask Matt.
The observatory in the planetarium is self-evidently a significant science and tourist attraction and visitor economy asset for the entire region. So would you please welcome up next the Mayor of the East Midlands region, Claire Ward. Thank you.
Thank you. And I first became aware of this project when I was chair of Sherwood Forest Hospitals Trust, just down the road. And I was approached to lend support to the bid for funding. And like those who came before me, thought, that's an interesting project. Of course we would want to support it. But really, was this actually going to get the money that it needed? But the people who have been involved in this, who drove this project, had such a vision and ambition, and they genuinely did reach for the stars. And it's that has driven the ability to stand here today and be part of this fantastic project. So I congratulate every single one of you. And I think particularly this is important because of the collaboration across the community and the engagement of the community. And it's a testament, I hope, too, to the ambition that we have in the East Midlands. This is indeed one of the visitor economy attractions. And one of my commitments has been about putting the East Midlands on the map and all of the gems that we have here. And today, Ashfield has really created yet another gem. And I know you've got many of them in this area, but one that will attract not just local or national, but will attract international recognition. And that is something quite special. And we will do everything we can in the authority that I lead to grow our local visitor economy and to put this on the map. But more importantly, I think, is what you offer in terms of that inspiration for this STEM community. Children across this community are some of the most deprived in the region, with some of the least of the life chances. And if you can open up to them opportunities that they didn't even envisage ever before, in technology, in space, in so many other areas, but we can connect the dots for them because they come here and their minds are opened to something that they'd never seen before. That will be the true testament and the true delivery of real ambition for this community. So thank you to everybody, and I look forward to seeing this grow in future.
And thank you very much indeed, Claire. So this project has drawn on many sources of funding and support. But the principal impetus and enabler of that from the very start, in that and many other respects, has indeed been Ashfield District Council. So I'm now going to ask the CEO of the Council, Teresa Hodgkinson, and Councillor Matt Relf, who leads on regeneration and planning, to speak next. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everybody. I'm just so proud. I mean, wow. You know, I woke up with butterflies in my tummy this morning, and I've still got them now, and it's not because I'm doing public speaking, because I'm okay with that. It's just that when we first visited the site, you know, back in 2017, I think, was the first time that I visited the site. I went down into the reservoir and started seeing the vision and that inspiration that was being set. It blew my mind then. Did stood here today, did I think we'd get there? Absolutely not. And I think everybody's, you know, joined in to say that that vision and being created today is magnificent. And I just wanted to concur with Steve, really, and talk a bit about some of the figures, because he's not mentioned them, because they're significant, the amount of funding and collaborative working that's been brought to this project. So thank you, everybody, for being here today. And as you know, as Ashfield District Council, we have been committed and supported this project and have put resources, people resources and financial resources right from the conception. So we originally started with the feasibility work, which looked at the potentials around the project, and that really kicked it off for us. And in order to have that aspiration, we made sure that that vision was embedded in our corporate plan. Because when you embed key projects across an organisation, then they can come to reality. What we did have in Ashfield is we had that passion to be able to work together to get to where we are today. So just talking about some of the figures, and it's been a bit of a journey, if I'm honest, because we've had a pandemic thrown in the middle of that. And, you know, the first part of funding that we went through was through the National Lottery, through the Heritage Lottery Fund, which was the starting point of getting some significant capital funding to help us on the journey. But the actual pandemic put a bit of a stop to that, because there was a large funding gap, and it created that they actually had to refocus some of that funding onto other projects. But we don't just put our hands down, we roll the sleeves up as we do in Ashfield, and we go again. And we had some further opportunities that came to us, which, as you know, in Ashfield, and Matthew will pick up on some of that we've been very successful at attracting external funding. And that is because of the passion and vision and good bid writers that are in the room, without naming people. You know, the monies that have come to Ashfield to start seeing some of these projects coming out of the ground and seeing the reality around it. The next bit is the exciting bit. Actually, what difference is that going to make to our communities? And the communities that we've all spoke about, you know, that's got deprivation, low education, you know, there's lots of crime within the area, but they need something to aspire to. So the Levelling Up Fund was the first opportunity, which we secured 3.1 million back in 2023 to put us on that journey. Along with some of the other funding, it led us to securing £5.4 million worth of funding to bring this project to realisation. So I know Steve hasn't talked about the figures, but that is significant for a project like this. It really is. And that is because of the dedication of the trustees, of the project management, with the support of the council of getting here to today. So this facility really is a testament of hard work, dedication, over a number of years, and I wish everybody all the success for the future. And I'm going to hand over to Matt, but one of the things that we put in our corporate plan based on this facility is reaching for the stars, and boy, have you reached for the stars and gone beyond. So well done to everybody.
Yes, so as Teresa's mentioned, you know, we've been passionately supporting this project for many years now, and it's brilliant and absolutely incredible to see it actually officially open now. The total cost of this has been talked about, and it's a significant investment that we've seen in the area, but you can't fault the results of it, can you? I mean, this really is an epic facility. Now, this is one of 16 projects that were funded from our £62.6 million Towns Fund deal that we put in, which is part of our broader £140 million regeneration programme in the area. Now, we have been wildly successful in bidding for government funding, And, we've been the most successful in the whole of the UK on that front. And I think there are two facets of that. One, there is great need in the local area, but two, we have incredible partners in the area. The observatory team here are phenomenal. There are many other of our partners in the room here who've made that happen. And we've talked about golden threads in the past, coming together to making a golden rope. And you can see when everyone grabs hold of that golden rope and pulls in the same direction, these are the results that you get off the back of that. So I've been visiting throughout construction. I had the pleasure of sort of clambering through a muddy hole and into a muddy reservoir right at the start when this was put to us. And to see it come out of the ground, be the spectacular facility it is, and come and see many shows here now, it really is a great end result that I'm getting niggled in the ear constantly from my family on because they've not been yet, because I can't get hold of tickets. So, as we've been talking about, we really have put Ashfield on the map with projects like this, but it's our residents that are going to be benefiting from this. I've been talking to many people today about how this is the spark. This is the thing that really lights that fire for that next generation of scientists and engineers in our local region, not just directly here in Ashfield. And there are many projects that we're working on that are about then fanning the flames of that spark and bringing that through to end results in really high-skilled jobs in the local area. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank some key people. A thank you to Dr. Steve Wallace. It cannot be overstated, his influence on this project. It really would not happen if it wasn't for Steve, and we really deserve him our thanks. So please, thank you. But also the broader Mansfield and Sutton Astronomical Society, you guys, putting him into this project, great decision. Also want to say big thanks to Mel Pythian, who's been our Towns Fund advisor. She's really got behind us on all of this. I'd also like to personally thank the Discover Ashfield board and the staff and members of Ashfield District Council who contributed to making this a success. Thank you all so much.
So I've got the absolute pleasure of being joined by Liz Barrett, the principal of the ATTFE here in Mid-Nottinghamshire. So Liz, can you tell us a little bit about what the ATTFE does to start with?
Yes, so ATTFE College is a lifelong learning provider here in Mid-Nottinghamshire, and we work with learners aged 16 plus in a whole variety of different courses and skills and knowledge-based subjects.
We're here at the Planetarium. How does the Planetarium and the ATTFE, where does that join up?
Okay, so in 2018 I got asked to be an educational specialist on the Planetarium project board, and there started the journey. I just became passionate about what we were trying to achieve, and I try and always ensure that there's learning opportunities for the college in anything that I do. And as such, we've arrived at this point where our learners are looking after the CAF here within the Planetarium. We've done wall art, and we've just facilitated a wonderful buffet and mocktails for this event today.
What kind of opportunities do you feel this leads on to for you students?
I think the Planetarium really does help us all to reach for the stars, and particularly our learners. So if we look at what's been happening so far, people who haven't had customer experience have been working in the CAF, people who haven't had hospitality experience have been learning around how to make cakes and sandwiches and paninis and doing a barista machine. So they've got real life opportunities to learn new skills, which will then enable them, if they would like, to move into employment in that area. You interviewed me a year ago, and I'm here now, and I've been here since 2018. And we've delivered as a team, a whole wide team of wonderful people, this fantastic resource. But we're not stopping, because what we're about is literally reaching for the stars, and we are shortly on to phase 2.
And what does phase 2 include?
Steve's yet to tell us. He's just informed us it's stage 2, phase 2.
Well, there you have it. Phase 2, exclusive,
bigger, better, and making the facilities even more accessible for the number of people who want to visit this wonderful attraction.
Reaching for the stars, there you have it. The ATTFE here at the Sherwood Observatory.
Yes, so many other organisations have contributed and funded this project, and indeed on the wall outside there is a board with those contributors and funders on it, so please do go and have a look at that when you have an opportunity this afternoon. However, one of those main other organisations is the National Lottery Heritage Fund. So please would you welcome to the podium its Midlands and East Coordinator, Julian Glover, OBE. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Simon. Yes, as he said, I'm Julian Glover. I'm a trustee of the Heritage Fund and chair of the Midlands and East, which is, of course, the best bit of Britain. And we're right at the heart of it today. There are lots of speeches today, so I'll keep this very short. I simply want to congratulate everybody who's been involved in this project on behalf of the Heritage Fund and on behalf of lottery players who make it possible, the people who've worked so hard to make this happen. The Heritage Fund is the largest funder of the UK's heritage, and by that we mean everything from the past that we care about, we want to shape and make accessible for the future. So land, nature, buildings, great structures, Victorian structures like this, the water tank that has turned into this miraculous site today. So we're very proud to have helped that. And since 1994, just over 30 years ago when the Heritage Fund and the National Lottery began, we have awarded £9.2 billion to more than 52,000 projects across the UK, big and small, many not far from here, and we want to continue doing that. So if you've got good ideas and questions, come to me, come to the team, look at our website. We're there to help, we're there to give away money, and it's a great privilege to have a role in an organisation where our job is to give away money, not tell people we don't have any. We want to help make things happen. And this is one of the most inspiring and exciting things I've seen that we've funded. I'm completely blown away. I can't wait to try and get hold of one of the precious tickets and come back one evening when the skies will be clear, because the weather's always good in the Midlands, as we know, and you can see the stars. So I'm looking forward to that. But every week, the National Lottery players raise over £30 million for good causes across the UK, and they're the people who've helped make this possible. The stories that will come out of people's experiences here are going to be fantastic. I want to come back, as I say. Good luck to everybody, and I wish you success.
We are honoured this afternoon to have the personal representative of the Crown with us. Would you please welcome His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Nottinghamshire, Veronica Pickering. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. I think that we are in the best place. And of course, it's Nottinghamshire, but particularly in Ashfield. So thank you for that confirmation. Well, we've always been really proud of our big sky views, and we definitely get that from up here. And I didn't realise that we were one of the highest points. But not only do we have the brightest possible day of the winter's day to actually look at on the various points here today, but we can also venture much further into the skies. And I'm delighted that you've all been able to join us. So distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today and giving up your afternoon to be here to celebrate, but not only to celebrate, but also to champion this place. This is a unique place, second only to Greenwich, I'm told, having both the observatory and, of course, everything else that we have. We are the best place to be. We are. We are. We are the best place. I make no apology for being a champion of Nottinghamshire or of this place. I make no apology for saying that we can do more, we can do better, and we can make better connections. My job, as part of being in this role, is to champion you, our people. I'm particularly passionate about our people and our communities, and I want to be able to say in every location that I'm in, whether it's with the King, as I was last month, or whether I'm with the next royal visitors, of which we have 3 more coming to our county in the next few months, to be able to say something about Ashfield, to be able to say something about our scientists, to be able to say something about our young people. Today I learned something which I hadn't realised that you do here. You have a radio station. A fantastic opportunity to not only listen in, which is what I'm hearing you do, but to say something more, to record your stories, your visions, and those little individual young people that come here as scouts, I'm told, and cubs, and all the other groups that you have that come here and learn from you, they have interesting stories to tell about you. They'll go into their schools, they'll go to their grandparents, they'll go to their families, and they will say, wow, as I did when I walked in. And as I entered this building, I wanted to feel like that child. And I'm hoping that you will inspire even more people like me, and I know that the Lieutenancy is coming in next week with Liz, and you're hosting a lot of others over the next few months in order to promote this place. But actually, I want to promote those individuals who've made it happen. 50 years ago and beyond, you thought about this place. The founders, I'm told, are still kicking and screaming about how wonderful you are. And they're coming in here, and they can't believe that you've made it. They can't believe that this day is here today. And I'm so, so proud of this achievement that I want to say thank you to you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you to all of the speakers for your encouraging and very affirmative words. So, in a moment now, we're going to go through into the adjacent open area for the official opening and the ribbon cutting, and then through into the planetarium for the presentation and the show. As we do so, I would encourage you to appreciate the planetary archway that has been created over the door to the planetarium. It really is quite something. It was created by our ATTFE College art tutor colleague, Jane Dovey, and her learners and volunteers. And they have also created the artwork that is along the long wall out there. So if you haven't had, that depicts the history of the observatory and the planetarium. So if you haven't had a chance to look at that yet, then please do so during the afternoon. So we are going to go through now in a moment to do the opening into the planetarium, and then back into here for the fantastic buffet, which will be laid out and ready for you in the meantime when you come back in. That's been made by our ATTFE tutor, Jane Dovey, and the volunteers and learners who are supporting her, and also have a chance to admire once more and maybe even have a slice of the magnificent edifice that is behind you in the far corner, that I've got a feeling we should have applied for planning permission, but we didn't have to say, okay, if we eat the evidence before there's any trouble, which is a fantastic cave that's been created by our colleague Karen Draycott, and again her class of learners and volunteers who have supported her. So we're going to go through now. I would ask if Lord Lieutenant and Professor Lintott, you could go through first, because you'll be doing the actual opening bit, pulling the ribbon to open, and then go through into the planetarium.
Hello everyone, my name is Catherine Haymans. I'm the Astronomer Royal for Scotland, and I wanted to drop by on this very special day to tell you to look up. Because when you look up in the night sky, you're looking out into the unknown, vast and beautiful universe. It's teeming with planets, stars and galaxies, and the more you learn about them, the more fascinating and beautiful it all becomes. And excitingly, there's so much we don't yet know about the universe. It's out there waiting for you to explore and discover. We say that astronomy is a gateway into science because even if someone tells you that they think science is really boring, they still love looking up at the full moon. They get excited when there's a meteor shower, and they absolutely love talking about whether there could be alien life out there in the solar system. But there's a deep-rooted cultural misconception in the UK about what it means to be a scientist. Most people think that science is all about facts, knowledge, certainty, and it's absolutely not. Being a scientist means being creative, innovative, imaginative, asking the questions that have never been asked before, and then going out and finding the answers. Together, we need to change people's opinions about science, and this planetarium is key to making that happen. Because it's here that schools, friends and families can become completely immersed in the beauty and wonders of space. And gosh, prepare for minds to be blown if a visit coincides with clear skies, because nothing beats seeing the cosmos through the Sherwood Observatory telescope. So a very big, heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for all of your support that created this fantastic new planetarium. Enjoy the celebrations, everyone, and enjoy the show.
I'm joined by Steve Wallace, who's the chairman of the Sherwood Observatory. Steve, can you tell us a little bit how it's gone from a observatory to this wonderful facility that you've got here now?
So when the original members built the observatory back in the 70s, they always looked across the fence and saw a redundant underground Victorian reservoir and thought, what can we do with that? So if you roll forward to 2014, we actually bought that piece of land, started rolling that project forward, and then through sort of 2019 through to 2023, we were fortunate enough to raise a few £1 million worth of funding to turn that dream into a reality. And then on the 29th of August 2023, we started construction. We got the building handed over mid-November 2024, and we opened to the public on the 25th of November. So as we stand here tonight, we've been open for approximately 7 weeks.
What have been some of the trials of getting the doors open for somewhere like this?
We started as a small astronomy society with a big idea. So I guess one of the risks was, why would anyone take us seriously? Why would anyone think that we could turn a redundant Victorian reservoir into a planetarium? Crazy idea. But we really got the backing of a group called Discover Ashfield, which is all about bringing more prosperity and more visitors to the area. With their backing, we got that first bit of government funding. And I think once you had that funding, it made other people see that we were actually serious about this and we could actually achieve it. So from there, we put in other grant applications and gradually gathered the budget, as well as big funding. We got the public involved, local businesses involved. So we gathered funding all the way from multi-million-pound grants, all the way to people putting money in donation boxes when they came to visit the observatory.
It's been a labour of love, I think it's fair to say. Yes. But standing here today on the official open, how do you feel?
Oh, it's just amazing seeing all of these people come here today, from TV celebrities like Chris Lingtot, to the Lord Lieutenant of Nottinghamshire, to leader of the council, to people from businesses who have been involved in the project in various ways, whether it be building it itself or giving us grant funding and supporting us through that way. Just having all of them come together today for this celebration has just been amazing.
Well, again, it's a very, very proud day for you and the entire community. So congratulations.
Thank you.
As excited as I am, I hope we're the least excited crowd ever to go through this archway to the planetarium, because school kids will have us beat, and so will the rest of your visitors. So, do you want to do the honours?
Well, let me just say, firstly, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here on behalf of His Majesty the King. I am absolutely delighted, and I know we've just been saying that the King is an absolute fan, and he is a stargazer, and I know that one day I hope that we're going to get him here. All right, that's my plan. Anyway, it gives me great pleasure to be here today to be able to officially open the planetarium and the observatory. Thank you very much.
You got one door? Oh, yeah. Shall we?
Yeah, shall we?
Do you know the secret of a planetarium is that the best seats are at the back? Always.